This is Steve.
And this is Sean.
This is Acro Media's High Five.
So, Steve, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to be talking about Acro Media's Drupal Point of Sale system that we recently built. Boom.
Excellent.
So, there's a bit of a story though. There's a little, we didn't come up with the idea. Let's build a point of sale. There's a story. Sean, do you want to share the story?
Okay, so the story was is we had a client that does e-commerce with us, and they wanted to integrate with a point of sale, and they had this basically pain of they need to have their stock and their products match up with their point of sale and their online system, and it needs to match up essentially in real time, so that if they sell stuff in store and they sell stuff online, they're not selling the same thing twice that they now don't have. And then now they have to order it in, and now it's a 2-week process, and they sell on a number of marketplaces, and this was actually causing them problem in those marketplaces because they weren't meeting the requirements that you're supposed to have on those marketplaces. So they were actually getting penalized for that, and so they needed a system that integrated. It couldn't do a batch at the end of the day, or it couldn't have 2 separate systems that work together, because if they had a busy sales time, they would, just completely get out of sync, and they could sell 10 more than they have, a thing that they only have 5 of, right, and cause real problems. And so they had a couple of options that they wanted to go with, and we looked in a couple of other things, but either the point of sale setup was subpar, or there were problems doing the integration. One of them we looked into, they were going to have an integration, but it was still at least a few months away, and then it was going to be limited, and then it was going to be 6 more months until they added more features, and it just wasn't going to work. And so it was like, well, why don't we just build the point of sale, into our existing setup that we have? It can use the same products, it can use the same data, it will have perfectly real-time inventory because it will actually be using the same system. There won't even be, a 5-minute lag while the APIs talk to each other or something. It will just be seamless.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right. And, outside of even building our own, it wasn't like we didn't try to go find something else that we could use. Hence kind of the brainchild of, well, what if we could actually have a point of sale, integrate with Drupal, built on Drupal, so essentially it's one fluid ecosystem. Why bother trying to do it any other way? We can just do it in Drupal. So, you're not going to be handcuffed to anyone else. You're not going to be paying crazy fees or you can't expand your business on other things. You can configure this now. You can tweak it. You can essentially edit it and brand it to your business.
Yeah.
So
all the benefits that we have of using Drupal and Drupal Commerce, we're like, well, why can't we have those in the point of sale realm? Why does it have to be some different proprietary system that we
it doesn't
can't
need to
use? Be. Yeah. And we kind of thought about it for a while, and it was like, oh, yeah, there isn't actually really a reason.
And we're a software company. We're an e-commerce company. We can do this.
Yeah.
We don't need someone else. Mm-hmm. So really what we're going to be going over today is going over some of the features of the point of sale. We're going to run you through. We're going to be a bit of a lightning round to a certain extent, but bear with us because it's going to be a good ride. There's a lot of cool features and really useful features that we're going to be able to share for your business. So we're going to start with management, all right? Mm-hmm. So tell us about user permissions.
User permissions. Basically setting so what your users can do, and I guess in this case it's what your cashiers can do. So can they do discounts? Can they run reports? Can they close out at the end of the day? Can they open a till in the morning? It's all that kind of stuff that you need to a lot of times if you have newer staff or staff that aren't senior management and stuff like that. So you might have like you're an admin, you can do everything, and then you have some store managers and stuff like that, and they can do most of the stuff. They can create users, they can, give certain discount levels. And then you maybe have, just your actual cashiers and stuff, sales staff running the tills. And you want to limit that down. They don't get to add products. They don't get to have, interaction with any of your site. They basically put orders through the point of sale. Maybe they even have a discount cap. They can take 10% off, and that's it or whatever, right? And that kind of stuff that they can do. And so you can set that, per cashier, or you can set up roles to match that kind of stuff up. So.
It's more than enough information I needed. Next, tell us about locations.
Well, you can just go, and
all right,
go on to the next thing.
Locations.
We'll get a buzzer. Locations is pretty standard. If you have, multiple store locations, you need to be able to track that in the point of sale. Mm-hmm. I have my store here, and then I have my store on the west side, and then I have my downtown store, and you need to be able to set those up. And they might even have, a bunch of tills for each store, but you need to track these different locations. For some reporting interest, not for a lot of functionality, but just so you can keep everything organized. You can't just have till 1 through 20 and it's like, okay, where are all those tills? I don't know. And so you set up locations. This store has tills, that store has tills, and then you can say, run the report for this store. Mm-hmm. What's it's running, combine all its tills together, see where we're at.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how inventory works with the point of sale?
Inventory is kind of the reason that we made the point of sale when we were looking at it. We needed to do these integrations with another point of sale because we needed to have consistent inventory. If someone bought something online and then things were also bought in store, we needed to have that inventory sync up, and it needed to sync up essentially in real time so that we didn't sell, especially online, a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't actually have anymore. Especially this is important on big sale days like, Black Friday, around Christmas, things like that, where you're going to sell a whole bunch and you could, way oversell, sell 10 different orders of something that you don't have in stock. And then, maybe even in your next order, you're only getting 5 of those. So now this is back ordered for 3-4 weeks. And so this was just so that your inventory and your point of sale, exactly the same on your Drupal website, manages it all together.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Accounting and the integration between accounting software and the point of sale.
Yeah. There's nothing special so much about the integration between the point of sale. It's just that it integrates with the same, QuickBooks accounting or other accounting stuff that you can do for your e-commerce website. And so the same orders from the point of sale that go through your website, they can all use the same system to feed into your accounting software.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Taxes.
Taxes, there's nothing particularly special. We just have, proper tax functionality. You can set all the tax rules. They can be, per region, zip code, country. They can apply to certain products. It's all that sort of functionality. It's the same functionality that Drupal Commerce has for the online stuff. You also only have to set up your taxes once. Same taxes will apply for point of sale as will apply for online stuff. They can follow all the same rules.
Great. Moving on to gift cards and discounts.
Okay, we're in the selling category now. We're out of management.
Yep. We're out of management. We are now. So that is the management piece of it.
You call yourself a co-host. Just disgraceful.
You know what? I'm sick of this.
You were sassy to me earlier, and now I'm wound up.
Gift
cards, discounts. So those are almost two things. Discounts being anything, add these 2 products and this discount will apply. If it's a buy 2 for 1, it's buy 3 of these, get the 4th one half price. All that stuff will apply automatically. And then you also, you can apply gift cards that people have bought online, gift cards that people have even partially redeemed online. You can just add in those codes. To have them work as well. Actually, one small piece of functionality we're going to be building for gift cards is that you can actually print those out as well now, so you can give them out in store. You can give them out in store anyways, but you just be like, hey, I added that to your account, which you can do, but now we can also print out a physical card that can be used as well. So,
yep. Automated promotions.
So that's kind of overlapped a little bit on the 2 here, but that's when you can set up, settings of like, hey, this sale is going to go on Friday, so it's set to go on from Friday at noon to, Monday at noon or whatever like that, and that's going to appear automatically, and you can have that set up in your rules in advance. So as you plunk stuff into the point of sale, that just applies, your sale price and your discounts, your 2-for-1s, all that kind of thing. So.
And tell us a little bit about customer tracking, the reports that we can kind of find about our customers.
Yeah. The coolest part about that is if you're using the Drupal point of sale, it's paired with Drupal Commerce, so it can be your online stuff. So your customers in store, as long as you get their email or their phone number or a way to match them up, all your orders that you do in store are matched up with anything you do online. So if you have customers that sometimes buy online but then may come into physical stores that you have, that customer profile is all together. So they can even see stuff they previously bought in store. You can set up. You can see stuff they previously bought online. If you want to do something like sell them a pre-order or something that's going to ship later, you can take that transaction through the point of sale in person, and then it can be an online order that they can follow up with later. So it really integrates that whole thing, so your customers have the one setup. So it's pretty cool. And so then if you want to look at history for customers, average order price, you have both the point of sale numbers and the online numbers.
And let's talk about payments, and specifically custom offline payments.
You had to throw that in there. Steve is bringing this up because Steve is the maintainer, or a maintainer of the custom offline payments module. And so he's very proud of that. So just have to bring that up. Maybe we'll link there, just do a little screenshot that shows that you're
maybe and link over to my Drupal profile to show all my commits.
With your 5 issue credits,
thank
I
you.
believe you have. Yes.
Specifically to the point of sale, I might add.
Yes. I don't know. You're dedicated to your craft.
Thank you.
Okay, what did you actually want?
I want to actually know about payments. Could you please talk about
that? So any sort of normal payment gateway that you would use online, you can use. If you want to put it in, you can also use payments that are basically what we talk about by offline payments. So you take a credit card or something through a terminal, but you don't have it connected to your point of sale system, or you're taking cash, check, you're putting it on someone's account or something like that. And then we also do integration through a third party called Payment Tree that lets you actually have terminal integration. And they have a big swath of different payment providers and terminal that they will integrate with. But so that's where, you punch in the order through the point of sale, automatically goes to the terminal. You just flip it around. They pay, price comes back into the point of sale, goes back and forth. So.
And let's kind of just bundle these next two together, even though they're not really alike, but they're kind of on the smaller side. Park sales and receipts.
Yeah, we'll just do quick.
Sure.
Parking sales is just, you're partway through something, and then that customer goes, wait, I'm going to go look for something else or whatever. Or, you go, hey, I'm going to have somebody else is going to check in the back for that. Like, can you just hold on for a couple of minutes? But you want to run other customers through at the same time. You just park that order. It's just basically a sort of pending one. It's just sitting there, waiting in your parked orders, and you can bring it back up. And we do like unlimited parked orders. You can do as many as you want, whatever. If you want to park it for a week and then the person's going to come back in next week or whatever, that's fine. You can leave it there, right? Probably put in their name or something so you can recognize it, but you don't have to. You can, whatever it is, you can just stop it and bring them back up. And any of your cashiers can do that. They all have their own parked orders. It's tied to them. So if they log into the till or they log into a different till or whatever, it's going to bring up the same parked orders.
Yep. And the receipts was the other part.
Yeah, and receipts for the next one. Just integrate with receipt printers. That's normal. There's nothing special about that. You can set the, headers, footers. So that's basically like you can put your logo at the top of the receipt. You can put, check out our survey at the bottom, or, Merry Christmas or something like that. Happy holidays if you're, No one actually cares about that, by the way. That's like a fake thing. But
if you have a problem with that and you're watching, this video isn't for you.
Yeah, just complain at me on Twitter. I will, or I'll fight you IRL. Whatever, it's fine. And so you can print that out. You can set that it's configurable through the order management system or through the point of sale management.
Just before we move on to the next section, which is Omnichannel, one of the things we haven't really touched on is that pretty much everything is configurable, right? Like, you talked about receipts, the fact that you can make this consistent with your brand. The whole point of sale can be tweaked if you are a developer, can it not? Being that it is a set of modules.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that it is modules and it's open source, everything can be tweaked by a developer, and we've tried to design it to be extendable. You can add in other, like we said, we did a partnership with Payment Tree. We have a system so that that's extendable. You can add in integration with any terminal vendor that you want. You can add in any payment methods you want. All that stuff is designed to be extendable, but I mean, in the end, it's open source. So even if it isn't designed that way, you can still build it in. But a lot of the stuff like configuring the receipts, that is through the user interface. Configuring what email messages are going to go out, things like that. You can do that through the interface. You don't have to be a developer.
Yep. And we'll move on to the next section, which is Shay, our CEO's favorite buzzword, Omnichannel. Let's start with mobile.
That's like the new 2016 e-commerce or commerce buzzword is Omnichannel. Yeah. So, Omnichannel is just all your channels, and so that's all your retail channels. So usually that is online sales, retail sales, phone sales are the primary three. So like I said earlier, our point with this is to integrate the online stuff with the point of sale stuff. So that's how we work on the omni-channel setup of all your products, all your inventory, all your orders, everything you do for online is the exact same data that is used for your point of sale. So it's seamless. You can literally transfer orders between the point of sale to online back and forth, or you just at least have the same data. You have one set of product data, one set of customer data, one set of order data. You don't have to be like, oh, the stuff at my point of sale is like not quite the same as the stuff we sell online. All the same stuff. You can say, hey, this is only available in store, this is only online, but all the data is there. It's one set of data.
Talk a little bit about the customer experience.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a thing that lots of businesses talk about. Like omnichannel is this new buzzword thing, but the experience isn't totally been realized. But the idea is that I get partway through doing something online, and then I can't complete it for whatever reason. Like there's customizations that I don't understand, or I don't know enough about the product. And if you're just buying a book online, this doesn't come up. But say you're buying something custom, like I had to buy a custom pool cover recently, and you have to get those like sized for the size. And all pools are different sizes and custom shapes.
Do you just have a standard bean shape?
No, but it's like slightly different, and it has like a little thing, and you got to get it custom. So they like. It's a thing, I was able to work through it online, but that's the perfect thing where you can be like, hey, I saw it online and I put in, and this is the type I want, but now I went in store and I need to be like, hey, I need you to help me figure out like what size I need exactly, because I don't want to like do all these dimensions and measurements and it gets confusing, right? So that's the perfect thing where someone can put the order in online, be halfway done and go into the store and be like, hey, I'm this person, can you just bring it up, right? And they bring up your order. Sense. And you can just continue. It's not like, wait, which one were you looking at? And they're like, oh, the blue one, and I think it's like this brand or whatever.
Yeah, I wrote down the SKU here and the name and the color. It's
I mean, God bless you if you're a customer and you actually write down the SKU when you come into the store. But most people don't do that. You're just going to try to remember it. You didn't have time for this, you didn't prep, like write some notes for this. And so they can just continue that. It can be seamless. And then it can even transition back onto the web, or it can be phone, and you can bounce between those channels. And it doesn't have to be like, let's start from scratch again every time.
And let's talk a little bit about advanced search. And this is where I got most of my contrib credits, but I'll let you talk about it.
What? Are you sure? Okay. Yeah, this is just, so we utilize a full Apache Solr setup, which is what we use for doing searches on the online part of it. And so this is just doing all that other stuff. It's doing, faceted searching. It's doing spelling correction. It's doing synonyms, all that kind of stuff. It's not just matching SKUs. You don't have to know the exact thing. It's searching title, description, price, category, brand, anything you want to tag onto your product, you can search through in the point of sale. And then you can even do customizations for that. What do and don't you want to search? Do you want to add these extra fields? Do you want to pare it down a little bit? How do you want that logic to go? There's some configuration for that in the user interface, and then you can always configure that from the development standpoint quite extensively.
Yeah. Back from my retail days, I think that the big improvement that we have, even from the standpoint of looking for products, is you only need to type in a few letters of the products before you can actually start getting the search. You can actually start seeing.
Yeah, we autocomplete you as you go along or whatever, right? So the fastest is if you know the name exactly, you get right to the product and you hit enter. But if you're kind of unsure, you can start and hopefully sort of filter your way down there. It's black, it's jacket, and you can try to,
Boom, you wanted the black jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you only saw a black jacket, the black jacket.
And let's talk a little bit about the wireless features here.
I mean, it's on the internet, so it's anything that, it's tied into your website stuff. It doesn't need to be set up on a physical terminal and wired into anything. You just need internet access. So that's tablets, phones, anything that's wireless. It could just even be desktops that are set up through Wi-Fi. It can still be wired. It can be whatever. You just need internet. That's the only requirement.
And we're getting to the end. We got a few more sections to go here, though. Getting there. The next one, and it's a pretty huge one actually, is reporting. So first off, we have multi-story reports. If you want to talk a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, I mean, we have multiple store reports. You can do anything from store, location, till any of that setup that you want to do, and then you can do point of sale, and you can also do non-point of sale reporting. And so you can split down to that any level, and then it has all the standard. You can do date ranges and product types and things like that. For standard reporting that you would do either combined with your e-commerce or specific to the point of sale.
Advanced journals.
Yeah, I mean which is basically I'll touch on sort of maybe a couple of points at once there.
Sure.
Where we have sort of journaling and end of day reports and stuff. So we have a few things that are custom to what you would need for a point of sale and aren't sort of standard sales metrics. So the journaling basically is a big audit log of everything that happened. You added this, you applied a discount, you did this. It keeps track of all what's happened in your till. So if you're trying to reconcile missing cash or something like that, you can try to look, this was where's the $200 from this, or we're supposed to have a check. Where did somebody put that check or whatever? Don't take checks anymore. That's just make people.
I'm like. Really?
People will do that occasionally. Make people I used to work in construction, and 90% of it was paid by check. It was this was 10 years ago, but still we'd had the credit card and the debit card for a really long time at that point already. But so maybe you have some of this. Maybe you have someone was on account, or they use a coupon or credit or something. We just keep a log of all that, so that if you have to reconcile stuff, or you do have a problem with theft or something like that, you can see what happened, who did what. So where is that missing?
Well, that kind of segues into end of day consolidation. Actually being able to balance your tills.
Yeah, which is two parts of the same thing. So likely you'd go through your end of day consolidation and you'd notice an error, then you'd go to the audit log. Hopefully you never have to look at the audit log and everything runs swimmingly. But if it's out, why is it out? Let's try to go through the details instead of just being hey, everyone look under the desk and see if there's $200 sitting somewhere.
Yeah. Employee performance. Let's talk about that and how the point of sale can actually measure employees actually putting sales through the point of sale.
Yeah, I mean, we tie everyone's paired up as a cashier, and so you just have all the metrics for, what sales you put through, what's your average order number, I mean, we can even do stuff like how long did it take you to put it through? We don't have a report for that right now, but we have the data that can do that kind of stuff of here's when you were logged in, here's your average time per order, we track everything attached to you, so, anything you want, you can sort of build a custom report that would figure that out.
Yeah, so the last section we have here, Sean, is just hardware, and the first piece of it, if you want to just cover, is the compatibility.
Yeah, and we don't have big hardware compatibility requirements because it runs through the browser. So if you have a browser, that's at least somewhat modern, it's going to run. So it's going to run on, Mac, Windows, Linux, PCs. It's going to run on Android and iOS tablets and phones. It'll probably run on a new BlackBerry. It'll run on a Windows phone. You just need a browser, and it just needs to be kind of modern, and then it's going to work. So it doesn't have to be, it has to be this Windows XP setup, and you have to install all these apps and stuff like that. You just need the browser, and it's going to work. So.
Fair enough. What about the compatibility between like other machines or terminals that it might need to integrate with?
So as far as like cash drawers, receipt printers, it just uses, there's basically a standard spec that they use. It uses that, so it should work with, pretty much any one of those that's on the market. For your receipt printers, you will have to, adjust the formatting a little to get it to print out just the right width and thing like that. And that's going to be different for almost every different printer. But that's pretty simple, and you can do that within the config. Just set up at this much, these font sizes, that kind of thing. Newer receipt printers can sometimes have a higher resolution. You might be able to do small graphics and stuff like that. And other ones are pretty much just like text. Yeah. As far as payment terminals, we do the integration with Payment Tree, so they support a really wide range of payment terminals, probably most payment terminals. But then if you have to have a specific one, then that's why I talked previously about it's extensible, so you can add in support for additional terminals.
Perfect. And the very last feature, barcodes and labels.
Barcodes and labels. So it's basically printing out or reprinting labels, which usually have barcodes on them as well. So it's the barcode probably generated from a UPC code that you'd already have set up for that product. So that's reprinting it out on any sort of standard label printer with the barcode on it, of course, and then SKU, price, title. You can customize that a little bit for what stuff you need to show on it. It probably varies a little bit from business to business, but usually there's some sort of code, pricing, maybe attributes like color and size, things like that. So.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. That pretty much sums up our features, man. That's it. It seems like it's a lot.
We just went over all the features that are in it already.
Yeah.
So it is open source, it is extendable, lots more features can be added to it. You can make up your own reports, you can add in more compatibility, you can add in, extra stuff that we haven't talked about. These are just what it comes with, sort of, out of the box kind of thing. And it works on pretty much anything, and it's going to support most payment terminals. So hopefully it's pretty flexible and easy to set up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sums up the episode. If you guys have any comments or questions, please do so below, and also subscribe to our channel.
You can also follow us on Facebook. You can check out our blog at acromedia.com. You can check me out on Twitter. And you can also check out our module page for our Commerce Point of Sale module. If you just search Drupal Commerce Point of Sale, it's the first thing that comes up.